Hey, Shalom Akim. First foremost, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachak Kudash. Double honors under the Elders Apostle Millstone, the Elders give Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect. The sincere servants of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, serving in truth and sincerity. Yes, I'm the brother Chayaba from GMS Plain Tables Camp. Come back with another lesson to his spirit. Here's a lesson be based on this article from nationalnews.com, which is entitled, it says, AI data center boom drives 65 billion power equipment demand amid supply chain constraints. Exactly. So, we know, again, this AI keeps on increasing. And we know within Esau's system, AI is playing, obviously, a huge part of it. Esau, of course, being the so-called white man. The main thing that's popping right now, obviously, is AI. And they're going to use AI ultimately within their new system, which is going to be the NWO, which, basically is going to tie into the MOTB. Or, that's basically going to be the start of the NWO. The main start of it when Esau mandates on Mark in Revelation chapter 13 and 16. Or you can start at verse 15, where it goes into the image of the beast. Of course, what the beast system, going back onto the Roman Empire, but we know it's been revived in the form, the beast in the form of the EU and the NATO, or EU and NATO. So without further ado, let's get straight into this article. It says a report from Wood Mackenzie projects that U.S. spending spending on power generation equipment for data centers could reach $65 billion by 2030, more than triple the $20 billion recorded in 2025, according to a zero-hedge analysis of the report. Data center capacity is forecast to reach 110 gigawatts by the end of the decade, with Bloomberg estimating total U.S. spending on power plant equipment may climb to $215 billion. The surge is driven by the expansion of artificial intelligence infrastructure, but domestic equipment shortages and extended lead times during the build-out. Yeah. Again, the point is that this thing won't stop. The scripture is going to do how, knowledge shall increase. So, of course, AI is playing a big part of that. First, you have the internet come out, so you have information spreading quickly. It's been spreading quickly at this point. And the Lord, by the way, created this internet just so that we can teach His word. The main point why the Lord allowed the internet to be created was for that, ultimately so that His word can get out even quicker. Because we know the internet does the heavy lifting for us to push out this word. So that's why the Lord, created it. Really, the main reason why He created it. So we don't have to go, travel to these other, other nations, go to other countries. No, ultimately, again, the Lord uses the internet as a heavy lifter. Scripture is going to how, or basically, the unicorn, which the unicorn really is represents the internet. So it says equipment shortages and supply chain risk. Wood Mackenzie reported that lead times for transformers, switchgear, and related equipment currently stretch from 18 to 36 months. Much of the shortfall is filled by imports by China, exposing the supply chain to geopolitical risk that Washington has cited as a concern. In April, the administration issued a series of Defense Production Act orders aimed at reliance on foreign suppliers, says according to a report by Mike Adams on nationalnews.com. The broader compute crunch spanning silicons, memory, and power is creating a structural famine that threatens to bottleneck innovation for years. Adams wrote that the explosive demand for AI is colliding with the immutable laws of physics and supply chains. So, again, this thing won't slow down, man. And Esau, won't stop to look at the environment, basically to look at what's happening around the world, what damage this is doing to the world, the pollution is causing. No, he's going to keep on going. That's why the scriptures say, if the Lord didn't shorten the days for the elect's sake, there should no flesh be saved. Because, hey, Esau, again, is a madman. And, he's going to keep, As the scriptures say, he's as death, and he lodges his czar as hell. So what he's gonna keep on going. I mean, literally everything he does is death, and he doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what basically he does, or ultimately Esau will do anything just to achieve his end goal, which is what ultimately he wants ultimate control over the world through MOTB. Let's go ahead and get Revelation 13 to 16. Or we saw verse 15. It says, Revelation 13 and 15, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Caused as many as will now worship the image of the beast should be killed. Yeah. So ultimately, the Lord, at the end of the day, Yahweh Bashim Yashai gives Esau the power to do, all the things that he does. He does nothing of his own, but the Lord gives everything onto Esau. The scriptures say, for Esau to, everything that the Lord has appointed on Esau to do, obviously it's been given by him, of the Lord. As the scriptures say, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Job chapter 9 and 24. So it's been given into Esau's hands. Going back onto his blessing, what have to do with heaven, the fatness of the earth, and basically the blessing of the sword to rule over the earth with it. So it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast again. So really, the beast goes back onto the Roman Empire. But again, the beast has been revived. So we know what the beast now is, the EU and NATO. And the image of the beast, of course, is a system that they're bringing, with the laws and the guidelines with that. It says that the image of the beast shall both speak, and cause as many as will not worship the image of the beast shall be killed. Exactly. So if you don't bow down to this image, this new system that they're setting up, which is the NWO, then what? It says shall be killed. First is gonna be, you're gonna be outcast of the society. You won't be able to be a part of it. You're gonna be dead, basically, within a system. You're going to be cast out of it. And then it's going to come to a point where they're literally going to seek to push you to death if you don't take part of it. Again, the gateway into that new system is going to be the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which we're about to read. It says verse 16, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their forehead. Or it says, or in their foreheads. Exactly. So ultimately he's going to put it upon both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their forehead. And that right there is going to be the initiation into the NWO. And Esau is going to mandate upon everybody, meaning he's going to force everybody, of course, to take it. Only, of course, really the elect of the nation of Israel, they're already predestined not to take it. But hey, it's going to be a free-for-all for everybody else, If they take it, boom. Ultimately, what? Then that means that they bow the knee down to Baal. Which, the modern-day Baal is basically Esau and his philosophies. And basically, his way that he wants to bring into the earth, which is completely perverse from the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. So it says, to receive a mark in the right hand on the forehead. When you get that word for mark, it's this Greek word kragma, which goes into what? A physical stamp, a scratch or etching, physical stamp as a badge of servitude. Or what? Basically a stamp as a badge of servitude when you go into the BOB definition. But getting those, what also goes into a graven image. So we know with these definitions, without a doubt, something that's physical. It's not something spiritual or abstract or intangible. No, it's something that is tangible. So when you go into it, obviously what, either in right hand or in the forehead, we know, what, again, in these times, what goes into the right hand or into the forehead. Obviously, it's a chip. Elon Musk is creating this Neuralink. Of course, these people have been taking these RFID C-hips chips. So we know that this is what it is. Verse 17. It says, and I know man my bar so, save he that had a mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you won't be able to bar or sell without it. We know these CHIPs, these ships have buying and selling capabilities, so you can make purchases with them. Again, Amazon One, basically, the new payment system, or even Whole Foods. Well, you're able to pay with the palm of your hand. I mean, why are they doing that when you already have a credit card? You have, smartphone payments, electronic contactless payments. You can already use with your card or your phone. Apple Pay, Google Pay. Again, going down the list. Again, why are they introducing, a way of paying with the palm if we already have means that are, again, sufficient? But again, it's all conditioning so that Esau, again, can bring his ultimate goal, which is making everybody take in a CHIP. So Esau wants to make the transition as smooth as possible. So that's why, again, he's introducing palm payments. And again, all these new ways of payment that are completely unnecessary, so that again he conditions the minds of the people so that they take it. So it says, and that no man might buy or sell. So he's gonna mandate it where you won't be able to take or buy or sell anything unless you have that CHIP, the RFID implant. If you don't have it, you won't be able to buy or sell. And that's going to be the temptation, or the temptation that is prophesied in Revelation chapter 3 and 10. Save he that had a mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So again, you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have that mark. It says, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And again, so it says, verse 18, here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So you won't be able to buy, ultimately, we know the number of the beast is 666. So that's why Esau, he loves to use that number. Again, a so-called white man, he loves to use that number. You go deep into his system, you don't even got to go deep, man. You can just go anywhere. You'll literally see that 666 number anywhere. Company logos, you'll see it within movies. Obviously, it's in the barcode, typical barcode. You'll see 666 when you go into the barcode language. Again, you go all throughout this devil society. It's, that number is always present. Again, so you can just look up RFID chip, and this is exactly what it is. Again, they call it as small as a grain of rice. Whatever form it comes in. Form as a grain of rice. Again, we know, again, they come in different sizes or different shapes. Circle shape, square shape, rectangle, or whatever. Of course, we know the main thing that we see right now is the grain of rice form. But again, whatever Esau has it, again, it's going to be a CHIP. And what ultimately is going to mandate it upon everybody to take it, either into right hand or into the forehead. But we know the servants of Yahweh Bashim Yashai are protected. Because again, it's going to get, ultimately you won't be able to buy or sell without it. And we know everything within society is about buying and selling. So, meaning no food, no going anywhere, no paying for gas, insurance, your rent, bills, anything, having a job, unless you have that CHIP. And even if you have your own business, you won't be able to make transactions or accept transactions unless you have that MOTB. So again, it's going to be the greatest temptation of all time. Let's get Revelation chapter 3 and 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. This is a letter, by the way. This Yahushua speaking. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which should come upon all the world to try them and dwell upon the earth. So, again, it's set up so that the elect of the nation of Israel, which are going to be ones who keep the word of the Lord's patience, the Lord's true and faithful servants, well, ultimately, the Lord's going to keep them from the hour of temptation. And, of course, that's what we hope to be a part of. And we know the Lord's going to do it by, again, his miracles. We know, of course, spiritual power is coming. The scriptures speak about, again, spiritual power. Scriptures speak about how the elect shall remarry and have abundance within these times, within the days of trouble. The scriptures say how the elect shall eat. The servants shall eat. And what house the Lord's servants shall drink. The Lord has promised that, of course, unto his servants. So we already know, again, was expected. And we know how Yahweh Bashim Yashai will provide for his elect. So, as Scripture say, we're commanded not to worry. And ultimately, what? To be still, knowing that Yahweh Bashim Yashai has already spoken his words. Once the Lord speaks it into existence, guess what? It's going to happen. So, we have no worry in that. Our job, of course, is to make our calling and election sure. Focus on this work. And what Yahweh Bashim Yashai will provide everything else. So that's, of course, what we're focused on. The Lord, of course, will protect his servants. So we have no worry about what Esau is going to do. So I believe that's the point. Lord Israel, you brothers out there edified. Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Bashim Kakurash Brakatham. Shalom.